Hey everybody, it's episode 399 of PodQuest.
Hey!
That was aggressive.
Was it?
Yeah.
Should I try it again?
No, you're good.
Do you want to retake? Hey! Is that better?
A little bit.
What about... Hey guys! How you doing?
Yeah, no, stick with that.
I can only... You know me. You've listened to... You actually haven't listened to Bonus Action, and you edit it and produce it. I can't stick a voice for more than like 2 minutes, so...
That's fair. And even when you try, you end up changing them dramatically.
Exactly.
Anyway, it's Wednesday, April 6th, 2022. I'm Chris. With me is Walnut.
Hi, I'm here.
Drew is on the other side of the country at the moment.
He's in California.
Yeah. Flew out there to see a lacrosse game, because why the fuck not?
Because he's a nerd.
Pretty much. Yeah, we're one episode away from 400.
400! That means, if you listen to one episode a day, it'll take you a year and 35 days to listen to every episode.
I think you did that math wrong.
365. 65 plus 35 is 400. I'm talking next week, though. It's a year and 30.
Okay, yeah, no, you're right. As I've told you many times, I am not good at math. So
you need to learn head math.
I don't. Like, contrary to what teachers may have told us, I always have a calculator available.
But
at all times. I am never in a situation where I do not have a calculator.
You see, that's because we grew up in an age pre-phone. But, like, you should still understand how to do some head math. Like, 400 minus 365 should not be a hard thing to do.
And it's not hard, and if I stopped and thought about it for a second, I would have, like, figured it out, but you give me two numbers if they're more than, like, one digit each, and it generally takes me a second where I have to actually, like, stop and, like, think about it. Like, math has never been a strong point for me. I've always been bad at math. So, it is what it is.
I'm also good at rounding. And so, like, I didn't actually sit there in my head and think 400 minus 365. I was 65 is what? 40, 30. Like, I didn't actually do the math. I was just like, I rounded it.
And, like, again, like, if I would have stopped to think about it for, like, a second, I would have figured it out. But it's just, like, I would have had to just been like, okay, well, like, 60 plus 40 is 100. So it's 5 less than that.
And you are the reason Skynet's going to take over the world. Because you didn't do math right.
What do you mean?
Well, just like you're in IT and Skynet's a machine and you're going to mess up the math and...
Nothing about my job involves math.
And now, until Skynet's a thing. And then it's going to be a lot about math.
No, see, I fix computers and like build servers.
Skynet's a computer.
Shawhead makes software. He will be the reason Skynet happens.
But see, Shawhead knows math.
Yeah, so then as long as he actually knows math, we'll be fine. But yeah, he makes the programs, I just install it on a server after somebody else has made it. No math required.
Or you might start needing math, especially with big systems like Skynet.
No, like that's what a calculator's for.
But Skynet runs a calculator, and so it might give you the number it wants to give you, not the number it actually needs to give you.
Oh, that's fine. As long as it gives me the number that it needs to run, like we're good.
But what if for it to run, the number that you give it is the kill number and not like the Protect Humanity number?
That's fine.
And I'm not talking the like sci-fi Protect Humanity by killing them because they're toxic. I mean the Protect Humanity by like actually protecting humanity.
We've had a good run. It'll be fine.
Oh, trust me, I'm every day sitting here just scared that nuclear winter is going to start at any second. So.
Mutually assured destruction. That's what keeps the world going.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if one country does it, every country does it, and then we're all dead. So, no country does it.
Yeah, you would hope.
I mean, that is literally what mutually assured destruction is, and that is what this world is based on. Like,
yeah, I know.
Peace treaties don't mean shit. The fact that it'll take long enough for a missile to cross, and they'll always be tracked, because that's just how that stuff works, that as soon as one country launches it, every other country is launching theirs, and just everyone's dead.
Mm-hmm.
So that keeps everybody from doing it.
Unless you find an area away from any major cities to live in, like Jericho, basically.
Yeah, I always wanted to watch that show. I remember watching like the first like episode or two, like when it was actually airing on television, and like just it was at a time where like DVRs and VOD weren't really a thing yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I just never did. But I've always wanted to go back and watch that show. It always seemed neat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it did.
And it had Skeet Ulrich in it.
I don't know who that is.
He's an actor. He was in Jericho. He plays Jughead's dad on Riverdale.
I never watched Riverdale.
Dude, you should watch Riverdale. It is so fucking stupid. This season, they're getting superpowers.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I don't want to because it just makes me think of Twilight.
No, like, Twilight is, like, bad dumb. This is, like, fun dumb. Like, it's the most... So, season 1, like, a little bit of a murder mystery. Like, it functions as, like, you know, high schoolers, murder mystery, what have you. Like, they're all supposed to be in 10th grade, but they're all, like, 34 and look like models. But whatever. And, like, that one's, like, kind of, like, normal. Like, it, you know, it's just, like, a student is found dead, and, like, that season is kind of, like, them sort of, like, trying to figure out who done it. And then
the students. It's the students trying to figure out who done it because the cops are inept and not going to even worry about that, right?
Well, I mean, the cops are also working on it and are actually making headway to an extent too. But like, yeah, it's very much like it's Scooby Doo. But then like season 2, I want to say it is. Archie, who I want to say is like a junior at this point in high school. Well, in season 1, he also has a romance with his teacher, so that's its own bag of issues. Season 2, though, he gets in. He does not get along with Veronica's rich mobster dad. So, something happens. He gets arrested, goes to jail. And, like, it's supposed to be, like, juvenile jail, but, like, it's basically a jail. And, like, first he somehow gets involved in, like, the jail fight club. And then ends up creating a jail football team to go against the guard football team. And
so now we're what's that movie? That football,
the Longest Yard.
Football. The Longest Yard. Now we're just doing the Longest Yard on the CW. Like it's 100% obvious.
This is
CW has zero original ideas.
No. This is only like the first like quarter of season 2. He then ends up escaping from prison because why the fuck not? The town goes into like martial law. He escapes into like the Canadian wilderness. I'm pretty sure he's in like Massachusetts is where Riverdale is supposed to be. So like he escapes into like the wilderness, fights a bear, like fights off a bear barehanded, gets away with just like some gnarly like scratches in his chest, survives though.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just goes fucking batshit from there. Like every season gets more over the top and ridiculous. At a certain point, I don't know what season they're on now, but not this season, but last season, they finally did like a time jump. So, like, they jumped them ahead to now they're, like, actually in their mid-20s in the show.
Yeah.
So, like, it's no more of, like, mid-20-somethings playing high school kids. And, like, yeah, in this season, it's, like, the first half of the season was this weird alternate universe thing. And then now they're in this part where one of the main characters is possessed by a ghost. And then Archie, Betty, and Jughead were all involved in an explosion. I shit you not. In an explosion, they all get superpowers. So Archie gets like super strength and indestructibility. Like he's basically Bruce Willis in Unbreakable. Betty gets the ability to see when people are up to no good. Like if she sees somebody that has like nefarious intentions, they get like this red aura around them. Jughead loses his hearing because of the bomb, but gains the ability to read people's minds. And it's so fucking stupid, but I can't stop watching it.
You're the reason we have crap TV sometimes.
Man, you watched like 7 seasons of fucking Supernatural.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And the first 5, 6, I can't remember, were really good. And then the last, I stopped after season 7. Because it's just like, this is just no. This is no. And I want to go back to it eventually, but I can't.
Cause
I can't.
At a certain point, like, isn't it like, the show is like dumb campy at the beginning, but like entertaining, and then it's bad for a few seasons, and then it actually gets good, and that's what everyone like loves about it?
Yeah, and I'm at the shitty part. Like, everyone tells me you can skip season 7 through like 10 or whatever. And or like 7 through like 11 or something like that. And I'm just like, if I'm gonna watch it, I'm gonna watch it. I can't get myself to go back to it right now. It's just, it got, that season 6 ended on such a good note. It should not have been picked. I mean, understand why it got picked back up, because it was a very popular show, but it shouldn't have. They should have stopped while it was up. Like, it just, I didn't need it. I didn't need it.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. And to be fair, like, with Riverdale, we never watch it, even close to when it airs. So, like, our numbers mean jack shit to, like, I think we have, like, 3 or 4 episodes on the DVR right now, and we just watched the first. So, like, we watched after, so they kind of did, like, what The Flash did. How The Flash did the, Armageddon thing in, like, November.
Yeah.
Riverdale did the same thing with their, alternate universe thing. It was, like, a 5-part, like, event that they aired over the course of 5 weeks. And then they were away until 3 weeks ago. So we watched those 5 episodes in, like, January after they had been over for, like, 2 months. And then just watched the first episode of, like, the next half of the season. Like, yes, we've watched it yesterday, and it started in March at some point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we are nowhere in the our viewing, our ratings matter bracket.
Yeah.
But that said, what is on the agenda tonight?
So, we got a little quick snippet about the Electronics Entertainment Expo. Then I actually got a chance to watch Midnight Episode 1. I watched Episode 2, but I'm not going to spoil it for anyone. Then, Cobb, you watched Death on the Nile. I got to play some Sea of Thieves. Cobb, you also played some Weird West. So we're just, it's all about us this week. It's all about us this week.
Yeah. Except for this little bit of news. So, fun thing I just found out, just because you actually just mentioned it. E3 no longer stands for Electronic Entertainment Expo.
Really?
Yeah, apparently E3 no longer actually stands for anything. It's just E3.
That's dumb.
Yeah. Like, I'm not sure how long that's been, but I was listening to a podcast, and one of the hosts of the podcast, it was Waypoint Radio, and the one guy, Patrick, has been to almost every E3. He went to his first E3 in, like, 97 when he was 14 years old. And, like he was saying, he's like, yeah, it's weird, because, like, I've been to every one of these since 97. Like, it's a part of my entire life. Like, more than half of my life I've spent going to E3s. And then somebody called it the Electronic Entertainment Expo, and he's like, actually, that's not it anymore. They dropped that a few years ago.
Well, actually, it's nothing this year.
Yeah.
So
yeah, E3 got canceled. Like, all the way canceled. They'd originally announced they were going to do a hybrid. Like, there was going to be an in-person element and then an online element, like they had last year. But last week the news broke that, like, it was just canceled. There is no E3 in any form this year. The ESA is not doing anything around video games, or at least video game, like, expos, I should say. Jeff Keighley is doing Summer Games Fest, or whatever he calls it again. Keighley Game Fest. We're just gonna say that, which arguably was more. I feel like that was more games focused than, like, E3 usually is. Like,
yeah,
at least for, like, the consumer, I guess you'd call it. Because, like, we would get the press conferences, which have nothing to do with E3 really. Like, those guys just do whatever they like. The people that do press conferences just do whatever they want. Like, Microsoft can and probably will do something in the summer, like some sort of presentation. And yeah, it's so no E3, but Summer's Game Fest. And I'm sure, like, other outlets will do, like, their own things, like, with developers and publishers and everything like that. Like, I know GameSpot did a bunch of stuff last year in, like, June into July, if I remember correctly. But yeah, now the ESA claims they will be back in 2023 with an in-person show.
Yeah, I don't think they will. I really don't think they'll be back. It's a lot of the big devs don't really care to have a presence at that show anymore. They'll do their own things, or they'll, like, I think you said it. I was typing something up as you were speaking, so I didn't pay 100% attention. But, like, the Game Awards and Summer Game Fests are bigger than E3 anymore. So, like, why go to E3 when no one really pays a lot of attention to it?
Well, and because it is very much a thing where, yeah, EA doesn't go to E3. They do something away from it. Sony doesn't go to E3. Microsoft is big enough they can do whatever the fuck they want. Nintendo can basically do whatever the fuck they want. And rather than, it's insanely expensive for these places to do any sort of booth experience at these shows. Like, the ESA charges so much for it that it's not worth it. Like, they can go do a virtual thing with Keighley, put as much or as little production budget into that they want, and rather than that, So the E3 experience, like I said, you have your press conferences that are done independently of E3. They're just done that week. And that's just the publisher or platform holder or whoever doing like a stage presentation, which over the last decade and a half transitioned from, very insider like PowerPoint presentation stuff to these big elaborate things that are streamed online that like everybody watches. But like once you get to the E3 side of it, that's just for the industry. Like there is nothing coming out of E3 directly that really matters to the consumer or that we get to see. Like you have your outlets that do all their coverage. Like I've talked about before, like I listen and watch Giant Bomb. So like Giant Bomb does like talkovers of every press conference, and then every night they do a live stream where they have like devs and publishers and people come in and they do like 15 to 30 minute segments with people over the course of like a 3 or 4 hour video. And it's like very low key. It's more hangout than anything because it's like after the show's done, like everyone's tired. They're just kind of like hanging out and having fun. But like the stuff going on in the show, like we don't get anything from that. But like Jeff Keighley doing a bunch of like streams and like showing demos of stuff and talking to developers, like that's kind of like a mixture of what you would get from the presentations, the press conferences, as well as what you would get from watching like GameSpot during E3 or IGN, where like they just have people cycled in like little 10-15 minute clips where they're just like showing some gameplay demo, answering a few questions, and then going to the next person. You kind of get both of that, and sometimes you get it with a little more or a little less like color depending on the studio or whoever's there to talk about it.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, I kind of prefer that because as somebody who has never been able to go to E3 and at this point probably never will, like I like getting to see kind of what's going on, what's coming out, what's exciting versus just, all the behind closed door stuff that like the press and the media and stuff goes through.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. Like it's a bummer if it goes away because it is like, I don't know. I feel like E3 being E3 again would kind of be like that sign that like the world is back in some semblance of normalcy.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like I think not having an E3 just opens the possibilities for more interesting things in that realm that can be more widespread to the masses rather than just like the media and press and such.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. I'm not heartbroken at the fact that there's no E3 because I think we even went over it like last year and the year before. Like I don't really care about E3 anymore. Like it's just I haven't gotten anything out of it, and it's the same thing every year. It's one new title that comes out in 5 years, and the same 10 titles that they've been experiencing or showing off over the past 5 years. Like it's not special anymore. I'm just I'm. It would be nice to see if they do come back, and it would be nice to see if maybe they restructure everything. But I think we are seeing this may not be the last we hear E3, but this is, in my opinion, the downfall of E3.
Yeah, like it's definitely on, like if this isn't that final nail in the coffin, I feel like if they come back next year, it's going to be this weird, like just animated corpse of E3.
Yeah.
Because at this point, like, it is dead. Like, them canceling it this year, like, E3 is dead. If they manage to resuscitate it for one more year, I think it's just going to sign a DNA and call it a day after that. Because, after the last few years, like, why would any of the major publishers put their money into the ESA, who, like, seems to not really, like, the ESA is doing it because they want the paycheck. Like, they want that money. Like, if I don't know the prices, but I think, like, an exhibitor badge for E3 is like thousands of dollars, which is like outrageous. But yeah, it's, I don't know. It'll be interesting come like next year to see kind of what happens. Like if they do a show and like just how like will like a Microsoft or a Ubisoft do like a press conference and then like that's it. Because like I could see them doing that. It's like, okay, well you're doing E3, so like we're Microsoft. We own the fucking theater that we normally do our press conferences at, so like this isn't a problem for us. Like we'll just hop on our private jets for our executives and fly down to Los Angeles for a weekend.
Yeah.
Which it's more than that, but like yeah, like
well, like I'm I'm looking at like the Game Awards, their 2018 dates. I googled how much does it cost to go to the Game Awards, and their 2018 show was $70 for, I guess, general admission. Fucking machines. It was $70 for the low price ticket and $200 for VIP. Like, that's reasonable. Plus, it's where is it at?
Is that like the Staples Center or something like that?
It's in California. It was at the Microsoft Theater in California.
Oh, it was at the Microsoft Theater.
Yeah, in 2018 it was at the Microsoft Theater.
Okay.
So like it's still in LA, which is a little expensive because that's where E3 is as well, and it's pricey to get there and to do things there. But like I'm sure they could probably easily move the Game Awards to somewhere else.
But why?
People will still go. I mean, yeah, like I don't know if it was in the Microsoft Theater in 19 or where it was in 20 and 21. I didn't check it. It's not showing up on that. I just general Google search of it.
Yeah, but so they all, like, it's always been in Los Angeles. It will always be in Los Angeles. There is no reason for them to move outside of LA. It's West Coast, which means people from like Japan, like publishers and stuff like that. It's an easier trip for them. All of your main like everybody else, like the big companies that you expect, like your Microsoft, Nintendo, Sony, all of their American headquarters are on the West Coast. Mm-hmm. And then you have a lot of studios and stuff like that, kind of West Coast and like Midwest. Like there's like stuff in like Texas and like obviously up in Canada. But there's only a handful of like bigger studios like east of like Chicago. Like you have Epic and like Bethesda and stuff like that in Epic is in, I want to say, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Bethesda's main studio is Bethesda, Maryland.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like LA just makes sense because they also, you know, they get a little bit of Hollywood there too at the Game Awards because, like, you know, a lot of your voice actors are based either out of Texas or Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I like what I was saying about moving, like if they were to say move it to Atlanta, which is not expensive to go to, not expensive to hold things at, I'm sure they could get tax breaks or whatever for having it there because Atlanta is trying to become a bigger production city. Like they could make that work. If it's basically what I'm saying. Like
they could, it's just they wouldn't. But fun like trivia that goes along with that. What the fuck? Atlanta is the only other place that E3 has ever been held. Mm-hmm. It was like E3 like 97 or 98. They did 1 year where they went to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Because there was originally like an idea where it would sort of like every couple of years it would change like coast or whatever. So that it was easier for like different sides to sort of get to. But that didn't work out, and so they just kept it in Los Angeles. There was 1 year, I want to say it was 2008, where they downsized, and they had that weird Santa Monica air hangar year that nobody talks about fondly. And then they went right back to the LA Convention Center and just Kensha Hall and all that fun stuff. But,
yeah.
But enough E3 and its hollowing death blows. What did you think of Moon Knight?
I thoroughly enjoyed episode 1. I thoroughly enjoyed both episodes. I realized after saying I thoroughly enjoyed episode 1, it sounded like maybe I didn't like episode 2. But, like, I thoroughly enjoyed episode 1. It was so good. It was goofy. It was like the Marvel goofy that you expect with the serious tone that they give as well. Like, they were able to, like, balance that out, and it brings a lot of intrigue as to if you're someone like me who doesn't fully know who the character is or doesn't know who the character is at all. It really raises a lot of questions of like, what the fuck is going on? Who the fuck is this? And stuff like that. That I really enjoyed it. And like the way it wrapped up and how it ended with him and the suit and everything was really good. And I had a blast watching it. I did. And when you were talking about last week how there's some violence, but it's mostly implied. Like I wasn't really sure how that was going to work out, but it worked out so good in this first episode.
Yeah, like
so
I really enjoyed how they did that, where it was just these like cuts where like you'd see before something happened and then after it was done, but you wouldn't see the actual like fight or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And, like, it worked both visually and narratively.
Yeah. And, like, it just, I was not expecting, or I was confused when, like, he was getting two voices in his head. He was getting a deeper voice, and he was getting an American voice. And, like, it was weird, like, trying to catch out, like, why is there two voices? And, like, are they doing a, like a Deadpool style where, like, these voices are, like, his inner monologues that, like, cause I know how Deadpool in the comics has two different color boxes for when two different inner monologues talk with him, I believe, right?
So it depends on the book, but yeah, sometimes he'll basically, because he'll have conversations with himself, there will be, like, a yellow box for, like, one and then, like, a white box for the other. But that's only literally if he's, like, basically arguing with himself.
Yeah, yeah. But it's just like, it was like, oh, well, what are the different, does he really have that many different personalities in his head? Like, what the hell's going on? And, like, like I said, even last week, like, I know a little bit, he kind of has either, like, multiple personality, like DID, or, like, he hears voices, or something. Like, I know a little bit about it, but I don't know enough to actually talk fully on it, and, like, the way that they're doing it in this is just, it's really good. The second episode just is awesome as well. It's so good. Nice. It sucks that this is only a 6-episode series, but I can kind of get with their pacing why they can't do much more than that at the moment, and how much of a different show this is going to be from even the other three Marvel shows? Yeah, 3 other Marvel shows. Like, they're, this is what I love about what they're doing, is, like, all 3 of them, just like all different Marvel character movies, are different kinds of movies in and of themselves. And they have their own personalities. Yeah. And, like, it's the same with these shows. Each character set, or each show set, has its own personality and is a different kind of show overall. And it's so well done.
Yeah, no, so we were talking before we started recording. I haven't had a chance to watch the second episode yet, but yeah, I really liked the first episode. Have they explained, and you don't go into detail, but did they explain why he was hearing the different voices in the second episode?
No, they don't explain why he's hearing the different voices, but you learn who the different voices are.
Okay.
Yeah, so, like, you find out because you hear 2 different distinct voices in the first episode. You find out who those 2 distinct voices are, but they don't tell you beyond. They tell you why he's getting one of them, but not the other, in a sense. And you'll get what I'm saying. Anybody who's watched it already at this point understands what I'm saying for the most part.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to see how they handle it. Like, I purposely don't want to say anything to you or anyone listening about it, because like, I know Moon Knight. I like Moon Knight. Mm-hmm. I have I don't know how they're going to play it entirely, but, like, I know who that other voice was in the first episode. I know who the other voices were. Like, I know exactly, like, what the concept for Moon Knight is, but I don't know how exactly they're going to pull it off. So, like,
have you seen the promo images and stuff for the series, like the posters and stuff?
Oh yeah.
So you've seen the one where his mask is different?
Yeah, and he's in a suit.
Yeah,
that's Mr. Knight.
That happens this episode, and it's so great.
Yeah, no, so that is actually a newer version of that character, too. So It was only in the last, like, 5-ish years that, so you have Mr. Knight, who is sort of the problem solver, let's call him. Mm-hmm. In the comics, at least. And that is Moon Knight. He wears the mask, but then he also, like, he wears these, like fully white, like 3-piece suits, basically. Oftentimes, he doesn't often have the jacket on, but, like, he'll have the vest, he'll have, like, the white shirt, the white gloves, like, the whole deal. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And when he's going out to fucking punch people, that's when he puts on the traditional, like, Moon Knight with a cape and the hood and all that fun stuff. Yeah. And yeah, like, that's only been, like, a handful of years. And actually, in the current comics, he's basically running, like, a church, but not, like, a religious church. Like, this is a place for people to come that have no place else to go. And he will protect them, sort of deal. Okay. I think he calls it the Midnight Mission, if I remember correctly. And while he's there, he dresses as Mr. Knight. Like that is who he is there. but then like when he has to go out to like handle things for people, if he knows it's going to involve like superhero shit, he wears his Moon Knight outfit.
Yeah.
Which is he is a fun character. I look forward to talking about it after the series is wrapped up, because then I won't feel bad about like spoiling anything else about Moon Knight that maybe the show hasn't gotten into yet.
Yeah, and that's generally what we do, and that's what we'll do with this one. Is we get one or two talks about it, and then once the show wraps up, we'll cover it all.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say about Moon Knight before we move on?
Oscar Isaacs is the man, but that's not really about Moon Knight. That's just about him.
Have you seen the rehash of the Star Wars, the Poe and Finn things?
Oh, and have they been coming back because he's back in the media?
Yeah, so there's one. I'm going to see if I can find it real quick. So, like, you know how it was the scene where they find each other after Finn gets back to the Resistance base. Yeah,
and it's like you're the I held on to this for you. Why, man? Because you're the only whatever I need, or like stuff like that. Because the total bromance, and they really should have kept that going. And I really feel like that should have been in the final three, where the bromance and the romance between Finn and Poe, like that should have been in there. Should have been in there. Yeah, I mean, like it seemed like it worked. Disney as much as possible.
Yeah, like it seemed like it worked, and then they just didn't do it. Man, come on! I could have sworn. Oh, yeah, Sean did. I knew Sean would have it on his timeline.
Yeah.
So
if you need memes, you go to Sean.
Yeah. So it's it's the first one. The first panel is it's Finn talking. It's just a goldfish, bro. Why do you care how many fins it has? And then Poe responding, because for me, there's only one fin, bro. And then it's back to Finn, who just goes, bro.
Yeah.
And like that. Yeah, especially because there was that whole scene with him in the first episode with the goldfish, and him seeing the goldfish with a different number of fins.
That just did not click with me at all. Like, I saw that meme, and I remember it, but I was just like, this is just the general Poe Dameron bromance meme. I didn't even think about the fact that, he was looking for, or trying to figure out if goldfish could respawn limbs and stuff. Or regenerate limbs.
Yeah.
Didn't even think about that.
I thought that was actually very funny in that episode. Mm-hmm. And spawning out of that episode, because, like, Oscar Isaac does seem neat. I forgot he's like loosely attached to be Solid Snake in a Metal Gear Solid movie.
Yeah, and he was asked on the red carpet like about it, and I think he was like, we're looking at writing options or something like that, basically, because it's Metal Gear, so no one really knows the fucking story. So
yeah, that's basically what he said. He's like, we're still trying to figure out the story, just like Snake climbing through air vents.
Yeah.
But I guess
do we do Snake Eater and have a 20-minute scene of me climbing a ladder? Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, like, look, you can just do 4, and most of that thing was already a movie, so...
Yeah, you just do 4 scene by scene.
And frankly, with how long it's taking, by the time it's ready to go, he'll be the right age for that snake anyway.
Here's the thing. If you're gonna do a Metal Gear movie, you need to do a lot of meta humor. And, like, how the fuck are you going to do Psycho Mantis? Like, what kind of meta humor are you gonna throw into a Metal Gear movie to have Psycho Mantis? Like, you have to have him. He's iconic. Yeah. What are you gonna do? How are you gonna get that meta humor with him? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good one. Like I'm curious if there's anything they could do to actually make him as creepy and meta as, like, he was.
Yeah.
Who knows? But I guess, do you want to move on?
Yeah, tell us about Death on the Nile. That's isn't that the... I can't even remember now. It's a train movie. Sequel to...
It is a sequel to that. Yes, it is a sequel to Murder on the Orient Express.
Yeah.
So this is another... It's based on the Agatha Christie novel of the same name, Death on the Nile. It was... let me double check this, but I'm pretty sure it was directed and at least co-written by Kenneth Branagh, who writer-director of the first Thor movie, and also Gilderoy Lockhart in Chamber of Secrets.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. Wikipedia, Death on the Nile. Film from 2022. So he directed it. He did not do the screenplay, but he produced and directed and then starred in. So just like in the first one, he's reprising his role as Hercule Poirot, however you want to say it, who is a French detective, who's, you know...
Does he have a handlebar mustache and a big afro?
Not an afro, but he's got one hell of a mustache.
Is it an epic handlebar mustache, though?
I don't know if I would call it a handlebar, no.
Then he's not the right Hercule. I'm sorry.
You're the worst. And he is actually the real Hercule.
Nope. He's not the right one. Whether he's the real one or not, it doesn't matter. He's not the right one.
Man, why can't I not find... Oh, there he is. Here, I'm going to send you a quick picture. It's a very impressive mustache.
Where's it at? There it is. Man, you sent me, like, the link to a picture. You didn't, like, download the picture and send it to me. What the fuck, man?
Yep.
That is quite a mustache. That is quite a mustache.
Yeah.
And look at that. Look at that soul patch, man.
Yeah. No, and...
That is some facial hair.
So these are period movies. So this one takes place, I want to say, in, like, the 37. It takes place in 37. And... Yeah, so in this one, in the first one, he is on the Orient Express, the train. There's a murder. He's a detective. He figures it out. On this one, he by just a series of like random events, ends up on this cruise on the Nile River with this rich heiress and her new husband, who is kind of he was like poor adjacent, like at the time, and. Throughout this whole thing, that man had actually been engaged to another woman who was good friends with the heiress. And so you first see them like 6 months prior eating dinner at this restaurant place in London, I believe it was. And Hercule is actually there having dinner too. So like he kind of sees them. And it just happens to be that like 6 months later, they're all in Egypt and he ends up on this trip with them. Because like one of his friends from the train happens to be... like a guest at the thing or something weird like that. And the boat isn't like a private boat. It's like a public thing. Almost like a tour group sort of thing. And it's just the majority of the people are this wedding party sort of group. And it ends up being like another murder mystery. Like somebody in this group is murdered. And then, you know, it's Hercule figuring out who done it. I don't think this one was quite as good as the first one. I think like the cast was really good. Like it had like Kenneth Branagh, who is he's a wonderful actor. Gal Gadot is in it. She plays the rich heiress. Armie Hammer plays her like new husband. Like Annette Bening is in it. Letitia Wright from like Black Panther and stuff. Russell Brand, like the dude from Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
I know who Russell Brand is.
Okay. I just, look, not just for you, just make sure everyone knows it. He is in this. I did not recognize him until the movie was almost over.
Really?
Yeah. Like, he's got short hair, he's got, like, a beard, he plays, like, a, like, quiet doctor character. Like, did not recognize him fucking at all. But, like, you know, so, like, it was a good movie. Like, it wasn't, like, unenjoyable. But I thought the first one was just, I thought like it was more interesting because it was a lot of like interviews and like Hercule like questioning people and being a detective. This one just felt like there was more setup to the murder than like everything sort of wrapped up very quickly. At the murder happened and then like I just felt like it wrapped up like almost immediately after. And I sort of like I thought I knew who the murderer was. And then it seemed like they were going a different direction, and then they went back to that direction, but then, like, they still managed to, like, curveball it a little bit, which I appreciate. Yeah. Because, like, I've never read an Agatha Christie novel. Like, I didn't know how this one ended, so it was very much like I was, like, right and then wrong and then right and then still kind of wrong, but, like, also half right. And it's nice when you can't just, like, guess who done it.
Yeah, I mean, I've never really watched many movies where it's, like... You try to guess who done it. Like, I don't know. I've never really watched a lot of murder mysteries to really have that experience. It does sound like an intriguing story. It does sound like an interesting movie. It's not really up high on my list of things.
Well, you also, like we've been over, don't enjoy movies that don't have some sort of, like, oomph to them.
But, I mean, see, that's the thing, though. Like, when we talked about like Blade Runner. Nothing happened in that, and there was no real major outcome to me. But like when it comes to Death on the Nile and Orient Express, like it's a murder mystery, and like it's trying to figure out what's going on and who did it, and trying to catch the clues. Like there's more to it than just what's going on. Whereas, for me at least, when it came to some movies, it's just there wasn't really much to it, and I didn't get in line of like any of the other additional thought process. Whereas like this is like there's an actual outcome to the movie, like you find out who done it.
Yeah,
hopefully.
I don't think you'd enjoy it. I think you'd be bored because it's a 2-hour movie, and I'd say the first hour 15, hour 20, no one even like there's not even a murder yet.
See, now that's a problem. If you're going to give me a murder mystery, but the murder doesn't happen till a half hour before the movie ends, then you didn't give me a murder mystery.
But so, like, the whole point of these movies, and, like, Orient Express did do it a little bit quicker, and that is just, it's a different setup, which is nice. Like, they're not just, they don't mimic each other. But it's very much a meet the characters, learn the characters, see what's going on, like, develop opinions on these characters before you find out who dies. Like...
Yeah.
Like, that was a surprise alone. Like, it's like, all right, well, one of these people dies, and I actually thought it was going to be one character. And it ended up being a different one. I'm like, oh, okay, well, no, that makes sense too. Like, I understand why it would be that character, but I definitely thought they were going to go in a different direction with it, and make it, like, it would have had a similar actually not a similar outcome, but like, it still could have worked if it went that direction. But I misinterpreted who was going to die. And yeah. And like this one actually, like, more than one person ends up dying as a result of like the murder that sort of starts everything. And because they are on this boat, like traveling down the Nile, like there's not really anywhere for them to go. And at least in this particular case, most of the crew leaves the boat at night. Like they take little like rowboats to shore and like stay off the boat for the evening. Mm-hmm. Which I thought was kind of weird, but also whatever. So
I mean, it's because this is a period piece, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it might be a little weird, but at the same time, the cost of travel on the boat's not going to waste money on giving staff rooms. So they'll have staff rooms off the boat, because they're going to make more money.
Oh, no, I mean, like, that is 100% what was going on, but it's just like, wouldn't it just be easier to have, like, a bunk room where, like, 3 or 4 people sleep at a time?
Yeah, or you could get another guest in that room.
No, but like you make it like the shitty room, like down below, where like none of your guests are going to want to stay because they're paying good money.
Maybe, but I don't know. Yeah. I'm not a cruise shipman, so I don't know how that works.
Well, what good are you then?
I mean, I'm only, if anything, I'm just a pirate.
No.
I mean, according to our next topic, yes.
Okay, yeah. You know what? You did play a game about pirates. What did you think, Sea of Thieves?
You like that? You like that, what's the word?
So you've ruined it by not knowing what a segue is.
That segue, like, you like that segue? You like what I was trying to do in that segue? Yeah, I played some Sea of Thieves last week. I only played, what was it, like maybe 2 to 3 hours. I joined a friend while she was, streaming, and, she only had a crew of 2, so I helped her and made a crew of 3, and it's fun. It's silly. It's like, it's one of those games where if you can get a group of 4 to just jump into a server and play, it can be really fun because there's no real anything you have to do. You just do things. You do whatever you want. There are objectives. There are quest lines you can run. There's events that you can do, or you can just sail around on the seas, singing sea shanties, drinking all the rum, and having a grand old time. Like, and that's we did a couple of the events, and we also got into like a naval battle with some really good players, and almost held our own. And it was fun, even though we got killed and wrecked. We were able to complete our objectives, and I helped them get through this event quest line, and we did. It was just a blast. It's a silly game, stupid tutorial that you have to play first. And it takes way too long. But yeah, I really liked it. I've always wanted to play it. Always wanted to get a crew together and play it, but I just never could.
Yeah, I tried it like around the time that it came out, I want to say, or at least like when it came on to what's the Game Pass.
Yeah.
But like as is common for me, like I just kind of hopped in by myself with like a single player boat and like floated around a little bit. And I know since then they've made like huge changes and improvements to the game, but like it was cool at that point. Like it was not something that I wanted to play because it is very boring to play by yourself.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But like
I like there was a lot of downtime even playing with two other people. There was a lot of downtime. I ended up sitting on the ship more so than like actually running around sometimes.
yeah, like I definitely went like I sailed my boat around a little bit, which like worked well even with one person. I went to like a random island that looked like a skull island and kind of like wandered around, fought some skeletons and stuff like that. Like it wasn't bad, but it was just, you know, it was early game and alone, and it was just like, okay, cool. Like I understand what they're doing here, and I'll probably never touch it again. But like, cool. Like they did it.
Yeah.
They did an okay thing with this.
I would love to try to get like a let's play or a series with, or just play with people on stream like once a week or once a month. Just get a group of 4 people together and just like, all right, let's fuck around for the next 4 to 6 hours and see what we can do. The biggest problem I may have with it is there's no private servers. You cannot set up a personal or private server, and so there's limitations to how many players can be on each server. And the crew itself can only be a crew of 4. You can't have any more. I think it was... No, it's not. There's no limitations to players, but there are limitations to ships. So there can only be like 12 ships on a server or something like that. And so if you're jumping into a server that already has max ships, you have to join one of the crews, or you have to be added onto another server. So generally... So there's no like... I guess the player maximum would be... 48, because it'd be 12 times 4 or something like that. Because I think besides the base tier ships, you can have, I don't know how many of the tier 1 and tier 2 ships, but like the best ship, there can only, according to the people I was playing with, can only be like 2 of those, which are like the galleons, the big ones. Can only be like 2 of them per server. So like you have to either hope that you're lucky to get one of those, steal one of those, or have one of your own ships, or have one of the smaller ships. But it's like, I think it's four crew people per ship. And if there's only 12 ships, probably about servers of 48, which isn't bad. And like, I don't know how many were on our server, but we didn't really encounter that many people, and that's how big the map is. The only thing is, if you can like quote raise your flag, your merchant flag, and if you're doing that, you get extra points, but it also puts you on the map. And so if you have people that are just being pirates and not actually doing quests and just going out hunting, they're going to see that you're getting the extra gold, and they're going to see you on the map and be able to hunt you down. So it's like the little bit of a like catch. Which do you do? Do you not get the extra points and experience, or do you not get? Or do you run the risk of being hunted down every time?
Okay.
Yeah, and it's cool. It's a neat experience. I would love to play more. I would love to get into it more. And it's sometime down the line when I eventually finish and clear up a lot of the games that I'm playing. Definitely is an idea to do on stream. Maybe, I don't know, if I start to stream more, maybe add that for a night each week. Something like that. I don't know. We'll figure it out. It was good. I liked it.
That's good. Yeah, like I said, I always thought that game just seemed neat, but just wasn't necessarily like for me.
Yeah. It's definitely not for you, because it's you need at least 1 to 2 other people to play with for it to be like not even enjoyable, but just easier. Because if you have even the small ship, there's still a lot that you need to do in order to sail. You need to raise and lower the mast. You need to raise and lower the anchor, and then you need to actually sail the boat. And like, it's all close by if you have like the 1-person ship, but you run the risk of like running into things, and then you could potentially lose your gold if your ship gets destroyed and stuff.
Right.
So it's just easier to have more than 1 person playing with.
Yeah, which does make sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But hey, at least you enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I do plan on playing it again eventually.
Yeah, that definitely seems like one of those games where it is more fun to probably play with other people. And, like, unless you're with a group that's, like, really, really into it, probably playing, like, not all the time.
Yeah. Like, I could see myself, like, say I had no other games playing, or to be played right now, and, like, I'd finished Elden Ring and everything else, I could see myself happily playing it, like, twice a week, and being okay. Maybe more than that, I could do it, but, like I said, there is a lot of downtime when playing it, because you're just sailing, that it just, you might feel like you're wasting some time sometimes.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Yeah.
It's dumb, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
So, quick little breaking news reel now.
Breaking news.
Yeah. It looks like Ezra Miller may not be the Flash anymore.
Why is that?
So he got arrested like last week or the week before for like assaulting somebody, I want to say.
Oh boy.
Like I don't mean to make that sound like it's unimportant, but yeah, I just opened up the article. So this is from GameSpot. They reported it a couple hours ago. It went up on their thing. I just saw it on Facebook though. So they're reporting multiple Ezra Miller projects and the actor's future with Warner Bros. And DC are reportedly in jeopardy following a number of recent incidents, including the star's arrest for disorderly conduct and harassment. According to Rolling Stone, the company's executives held an emergency meeting on March 30th. On March 29th, Miller reportedly had a temporary restraining order placed against them by a couple that claimed they stormed into their bedroom and threatened them. Miller also allegedly engaged in other illicit activities and is accused of stealing a passport and a wallet that included a social security card, driver's license, and bank card. None of these seem to be isolated incidents, as Page Six is also reporting that Miller was the subject of 10 police calls in less than a month. As of this writing, Miller is set to appear as the titular character in The Flash, which is slated for release in 2023. But as Rolling Stone reports, both Warner Bros. And DC are reportedly pausing any future projects involving the actor, which also includes further possible appearances in the DC cinematic universe. That's not what it's called, motherfuckers. These recent developments also cast an unfortunate shadow over The Flash. The film was, among many other reasons, drawing lots of attention for its excitingly featuring the return of Michael Keaton as Batman. The Flash is expected to hit theaters on June 23rd, 2023. Miller will next be seen in Fantastic Beasts: The Secret of Dumbledore, which is due to hit theaters on April 15th.
Jeez.
Yeah. So did not realize Ezra Miller was like that much of a douchebag.
Yeah, they I've always gotten a feeling that they were quite a dick.
Yeah, I didn't realize that they went by they them either.
I just looked it up now just to make sure, because I wasn't sure. I know that they're LGBTQIA, but I just wasn't sure where in I guess the spectrum, I guess the ways to put it.
Yeah, I actually didn't realize that at all. Like I don't particularly follow Ezra Miller.
Yeah.
Like, I thought I haven't seen a lot that he's been in. Like he's been fine in what I have seen him in, but like I did always get the impression from like like not interviews but like other things where like just some of the I'm trying to think of the right way to word this. It's not so much that things were said purposely like an asshole, but like asshole-ish things were said or done.
Yeah, they tend to like always come off as like, yeah, they tend to do things that aren't very great. But always blamed it on like social anxiety and junk. And I have social anxiety. I have anxiety issues and things like that. But at one point or another, you start to lean on that as a crutch and make that your personality. And that does not make it okay to be a jerk. And the article even said, what was it, 4-5 police calls in the last month, something like that? Or was it like 10 actually? I can't remember.
10 like, police calls in less than a month.
Yeah, they're just get them out of the Barry Allen shoes, because that's not the fault.
Yeah,
I stand by, like, if you're going to play a role of a superhero, you gotta act like not be a superhero, but you gotta act like somebody to look up to. Like, you can't just say, oh, I'm the Flash, and then be a dick.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, yeah, who knows how that's going to work out. So Ezra Miller the Flash may come out, and then they may just recast the Flash.
As Flashpoint ends, Barry Allen's face changes.
Yeah, like that character becomes somebody different.
or it turns out that Ezra Miller was not playing Barry Allen the entire time they were playing Jay Garrick, and now or the next Flash will be Jay Garrick and not Barry Allen.
Well, no. So if anything, Miller was definitely playing Barry because they called him Barry a few times. They could do a Crisis. They could do original Crisis where Barry Allen dies during Crisis. And with him gone, Wally West becomes the Flash.
Yeah.
So they'd have to introduce Wally West, but like that's fine. Like,
yeah, I mean, or just do what I don't know. I can't remember if I haven't followed up on it. I think they were recasting Shuri. They could just recast Barry Allen.
No, Letitia Wright is still Shuri.
Okay.
And they apparently finished filming.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so that there was that breaking news. Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about as far as Sea of Thieves went?
No, that was it. It's just I had a good time. It was like I didn't play a lot of it, so I don't really have too much to talk about. I've watched other YouTubers and streamers play it, and it's always been like this game is something I could definitely get into, but because of the strong need for a crew, I don't get into it.
Yeah, that is totally valid. It's like playing like Destiny. Like it's not that much fun to play by yourself after a certain point.
I mean, not really, because Destiny at least has good matchmaking, whereas I don't really know how the matchmaking would work in Sea of Thieves, if at all.
They do have matchmaking in that game, though.
Yeah, I don't know how it would feel with playing with people I don't really know or talk to on at least an occasional basis.
But Destiny would be the same way. Like, you don't want to go into a Destiny raid with a bunch of strangers and just hope for the best. Because, like, that's hours of your life right there. But, like, strikes and stuff like that are a different story.
A Destiny raid is maybe an hour tops. They're not long.
I mean, it depends when you're doing it. If you're doing it, like shortly after it comes out, you have to figure out how to do it.
Well, yeah. After the first week, everyone knows how to do it.
But then it's still a matter if you're going in with people that you don't know. Like, if the communication's not there, like, you're failing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, true. It was the raid in Destiny 2 I never finished because we could never get a good group together to finish it.
Yeah, like stuff like that. So the only thing that I really had like time to play that was different this week was I tried out Weird West.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a neat game. I'm not going to play it anymore. Like it's not a me game.
No.
So it's like part computer RPG, part like action RPG. Like it's got that sort of top down move around. You can kind of interact with everything, pick up anything. When you have your gun, if you're shooting, you just get the red line on the screen as you move your mouse back and forth, and you just click to fire. And if a thing is in your path, you hit it. Which like isn't bad. Like it controlled mostly well. It was a little buggy, and the NPCs are very aggressive with if something is considered like villainous, basically. So the game opens up with like this weird, I don't know, alternate universe bit where like your character, it seems like they're being branded before you suddenly wake up in like the Old West, and outside of your house, like your husband is being kidnapped and your son has been murdered. And then you go outside and like the sheriff shows up and basically tells you that like you used to be some badass bounty hunter who like hung up their bounty hunting, I guess, to have a family. And then tells you like, well, you buried your gun and shit back in the garden, so fucking go dig it up and we'll go take care of these assholes and get your husband back. So like you have to go, you find a shovel, you can actually like, so it's very funny. So they set the whole thing up where you find the shovel, you can actually go over to your son, and if you click on your son, you can first loot him, and like take anything he has in his pockets and such. But then you can bury him. And if you click bury, it like fades to black, comes back up, and you've buried him in this like nice little grave in like the back under a tree and stuff like that. Next to your son's dead body up front, though, was also the family dog that was also murdered. And I think a pig may have been murdered too. If you go over to the dog and has the same option, first you can loot it and like get some like meat off of it, which seems fucked up. And then you can bury it. But rather than like also burying the family dog back like in like a nice little plot, you bury it literally wherever you happen to click bury. So like there's an option to pick it up. So like I could have picked it up and like moved it first, but I didn't know that's what would happen. So you bury it and then it's buried. You can't move it after that. You can dig it up and like loot it if you didn't already, but after that you can only rebury it. So I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
But then, like, when I got into the town, like these bandits that stole my husband had obviously been through there too, killed a whole bunch of people. Like, the town was in bad shape. You get told very quickly if you try to loot any of the dead bodies that, like, if you get caught, people are going to think you're a thief, and if it's anybody in law enforcement, they're going to try and kill you. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I have to be careful about, like, looking for stuff, because at this point, like, halfway there, it's kind of like Oregon Trail traveling in a way. Like, you just kind of pick your destination, and then it takes you there, and you'll get, like, a text prompt that says, oh, you were attacked by wild dogs. And then it transitions to, like, this random area where there's, like, just wolves or wild dogs or whatever they were coming at you from all sides, and you just kind of have to turn and shoot them. So I was, like, low on bullets at this point. And there was no fucking store open in this town because everyone was goddamn dead. So I couldn't find bullets, so I was just kind of like looting people looking for bullets. And that's when they told me like, hey, this is illegal, like they're dead, but it's still their shit. So then you go into the jail where you talk to the sheriff, and they have one of these bandits in a cell. And it's just like dialogue, so you don't see anything, but you basically get to like interrogate them with the sheriff. And you have, like, be nice and ask them the questions. Or there's just an option, break their finger. So, like, the guy's being, like, a tough guy. He's like, I'm not gonna tell you shit. Fuck you. They'll kill me if I talk. And you just break his finger. And, like, he's just like, you crazy bitch, what are you doing? And, like, the next option is break another finger. So you break that one, and he's like, all right. I'll tell you what's going on. And he tells you a bunch of stuff, and then, like, doesn't tell you everything. So then you can break another finger. And it's just, that's what I did. Like, I didn't do any of the, like, okay, well, let's try and be good cop, bad cop, and, like, ask him questions nicely, and then, like, dig into him. Just, like, I don't have time for this. Like, as that character, like, you killed her kid and, like, stole her husband, so I'm just gonna break your fucking fingers until you talk. Yeah. And then after that, I'm just like, okay, well, this guy's obviously a scumbag. Can I just shoot him? Like, he's in a cell. Like, what happens if I shoot him? And nothing. Like, it just says blocked, so you can't shoot him.
That's lame.
But, like, you can, pick up a bucket, let's say, and go over to, like, a pump, fill it with water, and then, like, drink the water or throw the bucket, and the water splashes all over stuff. So I'm standing there, I'm like, oh, well, can I, like, throw this cup of water at him, like, at the cell, and have it, like, get, like, will there be any, like, reaction? So I do that, and it ricochets off the shell, and then the cup hits the sheriff, and then the sheriff attacks me and kills me. I'm just like, oh, it's that kind of game. So I kind of like ran around a little bit more after that. I didn't really like progress anymore. I just kind of wandered around, tried some different things. I wasn't really feeling it. And it doesn't play super well on a controller, which I was playing it, like on the Xbox. So yeah, like that, I only had the controller to even try it with. But like it had some charm to it. Apparently from what I've heard from like a few like different podcasts that were talking about it, as you complete like side quests, there's certain characters that'll basically like they'll join your posse essentially, so you'll have like some other people there to like fight with you. And there's some characters that like after you like help them out or save them, they'll just like randomly pop up occasionally to be like, "Hey, I'm here to help you fuck shit up," and like they'll help you fuck shit up. But the AI is apparently shit. So there was one mission where you apparently have to like kind of sneak through some stuff and then free prisoners. And if the leader finds you, they initially apparently offer you a position in the gang before realizing who you were and attacking you. And then it becomes like this whole shootout thing, and all the NPCs that you're trying to save are too stupid, so they don't run away properly, and then they just get targeted and murdered, and then you fail the mission. And apparently it's just, like, the triggers for it are not set up well. So the person I heard talking about it was basically like, yeah, it took me like 6 tries to get this to work right, because it just kept triggering these things by me just walking into the building. and then all the NPCs were just immediately murdered.
Yeah.
But it's one of those like immersive sims. So like you're kind of meant to just find different ways to do things, and sometimes it breaks the game a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But it, like I mentioned this to you on Sunday, like it's a game that I think you might enjoy on like streams occasionally.
Yeah. I was watching somebody play it the other day. It was the cutest stream I ever saw, because it was them and their daughter playing. It was daddy-daughter game night, and they were playing Weird West. And, like, she was constantly like, oh, bad guys, and it was adorable. The game seemed interesting, but, I had jumped in just to lurk on the stream just as I was getting ready to stream myself, so I didn't actually get to watch too much of it. But it does seem cool. It does seem like a game I might get into.
Yeah, and it is on Game Pass for console and PC, so you don't have to pay to try it. Well,
exactly.
I mean, you're paying to try it, but if you're playing other things on Game Pass, then you're not.
Yeah, that's how I play Sea of Thieves and stuff.
Yeah, like Game Pass is a good value. Like I hope that for people that want to jump into it, that the PS Plus upgrades end up being a good value also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I had about Weird West. Now you added something to the document about April Fool's jokes.
Yeah, April Fool's happened. Did you see any good jokes? Basically.
No, I didn't. I did not.
I saw 3. One of them was from I think I've talked about it before. It's called Good Mythical Morning. It's a YouTube show. Me and Jordan have talked about them in the past. And they basically they do a quote morning show, and they play like different kinds of games and stuff like they make up games and whatever. Well, they decided to play a game, and it was worth spending $1 million at Dollar Tree or something like that. And I click into it, not even realizing what day it was. It's a 20-minute video, and they spend the first 10 minutes, or they spend the entire 20-minute video, or most of the 20-minute video, explaining the rules of the game that they are about to play. And so, like, it takes 10 minutes, as I'm like, geez, there's a lot of... Oh. Well, now I just gotta finish it. Because, like, they've done some good, stupid stuff like this. Like, I think last year or the year before, they did... they had a secondary show called Good Mythical More, which is just more of a show. And it was... They chewed the world's chewiest chewing gum. And it was literally 20 minutes of them chewing gum. Like, I didn't recognize it until, like, after 5 minutes. I'm like, wow, are you kidding me? And then I skipped through the video every couple of minutes to see if they were still doing it. They were still doing it. It was good. They do some good, funny, silly things. Then the other 2 things I saw, there's a game on the PC. I don't know if it's on anywhere else, but I know it's on Steam, called Paint the Town Red, and it is a box brawler. So it's like all the characters are very, like, they're all box shaped, they're all boxy, kind of like Minecraft-y style characters and stuff. And it's a brawler game, so you go and the goal is to beat everyone up, and you paint the town red with blood. As you punch people, they start to bleed. The more you punch them, the more they bleed. And you can hit them with, like, glasses, and you can hit them with chairs and guitars and whatever else is around the arena. And you paint the town red. So they had an update on April Fool's Day called Paint the Town Green, where instead of them bleeding, every time you hit them, they planted flowers. And so flowers came out of their bodies, and you painted the town with flowers.
That's fun.
Yeah, which is fun. And after I find that out, and I'm talking to like Shothead and all them who have it, I'm like, guys, like, I need to roll back my update so I can play this version, because this is amazing. And it's like, why don't you keep that in? Like, keep that in. Like, have that as it's the only way you can play it on April Fool's Day, and then when you update it, keep the option in to make it all flowers, because I would love that. I would absolutely love that, to throw that in sometimes. And then the last one I saw, which is probably one of my more favorite ones, is Apex Legends had an April Fool's joke where they added a new gun. And when you shoot the gun, it sends out a little Nessie doll that will move around and bite at the ankles of the enemies that you're shooting at. Doesn't really do a lot of damage, and I doubt you can even, like, possibly even, like, really win a game with that weapon. But it's still one of those stupid things that they throw in that like, it would have been better if maybe the Nessies exploded or something. But no, they just go and they chomp, and they're little plush Nessies that attack the enemies. It was good.
That is actually, that is fun.
Yeah.
I did remember, like, Twitch had all of their, like, fake, categories. And I did...
Right, yeah.
And we were talking about this a little bit, I guess it was on Sunday, where one of the categories was silently reading. And like a Twitch employee who I know from, she used to work for GameSpot and now does like a podcast with some other people. She got on her Twitch channel that she regularly streams on and sat there for like 2 hours just reading a book and ended up with like 2,000 viewers at one point.
Yeah, I'm mad that I didn't go through like some of the Twitch joke threads and stuff because like I definitely would have done that because I think you guys even said there was one that was just chat where like it just shows the chat instead of just chatting. It just shows the chat on your stream.
No. So it doesn't do it for you. It was called literally just chatting. And the idea was you launch your stream with nothing and just let the chat chat.
Well, no, like that's what I'm saying. Like I would have like what I would have done is set it up so that my chat window would have been on the stream.
Oh yeah.
So as you're chatting, it's popping up on the stream. I wish I would have seen something like that. My idea, I'm not a big enough streamer that it really would have done anything, but my idea, if I had thought about it early enough and had the time to do it, time to figure it out, was I was going to, say, hey guys, like a surprise stream today. I'll be live in about 15 minutes. Come join me. And like the title would be like, I'll be live in 15 minutes, surprise game or something like that. And I would set it to like just chatting or whatever. And then I would have a timer and like I always have my countdown timer for like, say I'm starting at 6 o'clock. I have it count down till 6 and I start like 10 minutes early so that people can come in and start to chat or this way I'm not streaming to nobody and people are in there. I was going to have the timer count down from 14 minutes and 59 seconds to 14 minutes and then reverse back up to 14:59 and then keep counting down, or have it count down from 14:59 to 0 and then restart back at 14:59.
Yeah, that would have been both clever and kind of funny.
Yeah. Which I mean, this is my trademark, so you can't take it. You heard it here first. I might try that next year if I think about it. I just have to figure out how to do it.
You're going to forget by then, or you'll think of the day of and not have figured out how to do it.
That, or I'm just not streaming anymore by next year. Who knows?
Yeah, that is true.
I doubt that I won't be streaming by next year. It has become a habit and a revenue source that I'm going to continue to do it until it's no longer worth it. Yeah,
that makes sense. All right, so one other quick thing. This is not like anything like based on that. But I'd gotten a notification from Twitter, from fucking Mr. T, who I'm not even following, but I think it was just liked by other people that I am following. Earlier today, he tweeted out, I just received my second Moderna booster vaccine and I feel good. I am still going to wear my mask and keep my distance because the virus ain't over, fool. Grr. And I just want to share that. And that, it is the verified Mr. T account. It is actually Mr. T's account.
And that was today that he posted that?
Yep, today at, 2:26 p.m.
Which means the vaccines have been out for over a year, and he just got his second shot.
No, he just got his booster. He just got his second
booster. Oh, never. Okay, he is over 50, so it makes sense.
Yeah. So like, and it's Moderna which approved the second booster. I don't think Pfizer has yet. Or
maybe. I don't remember.
If Pfizer did, they also only approved it for like the upper age brackets.
I think it's Moderna and Pfizer have been approved for.
Yeah, I think Moderna was trying to get it approved for like everybody or something like that. I don't remember, but still, I just thought that was a fun tweet.
Yeah, I like that. That's good. I like it. Get your shot. Wear your mask still. I still do. I won't go indoors without a mask, like in public places. I won't.
Yeah. I have like once or twice when it's like today, like I stopped at Starbucks, and I literally, it was 6 o'clock in the morning. There was nobody in there. I ran in, grabbed my coffee, and left because I had mobile apped it. And like I was in the building for less than 30 seconds, and there was no one else in there. And, like, all the people making the drinks were on the other side because I had the only drink to pick up. Like, they weren't.
Yeah.
But,
I walked into Home Depot once, but that's only without it. And that's only because I forgot my mask in my car. And it was after, like, the snowstorm. And to walk back to my car was just too much. It was just too much.
Yeah.
To walk back to my car, how far I had to park in the snow to get my mask for something that I was walking in real quick for 5 minutes.
Yeah, like, I've forgotten to put it on a couple times while walking into, like, a building. And then, like, I'll walk around for a minute and be like, oh, shit, I don't have a mask on. And, like, I'll pull it out of my pocket and put it on real quick.
Yeah.
But, other than that, though, that's probably going to be a show for this week.
Yeah, it's a short show. Not a lot of major news happening, and it's because this is supposed to technically be pre-E3, so not a lot of big information would come out around these times.
Yeah, and like most of the big stuff came out in February and March, so it slows down a little bit in this month. I am actually going to be going to Fan Expo Philly this weekend, which is it's what they renamed Wizard World to.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be over there Friday and Saturday.
Nice.
Yeah.
Look for Cobb and give him a fist bump if you find him.
Yeah, no one will find me.
Maybe, you never know.
But I'll be wearing a mask the whole time.
Yeah.
And I plan on getting juice from Reading Terminal because I love that juice.
Nice.
But other than that, we have next week will be our book club, which is Ip Man. We're gonna talk about that on our 400th episode. Drew should be back, so it'll be all three of us discussing it. That movie is on Netflix, as we've mentioned a couple of times. That'll do it for this week. If you'd like to find more of our content, you can head over to www.one-quest.com. You can also help us by supporting us at patreon.com/onequest. If you can't support us there with dollars, you can go to your favorite podcast platform, like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, all the fun places like that. Rate us, review us, subscribe to us. All that stuff helps a whole bunch. You can also find us on social media. We are facebook.com/onequestonline or at @1_quest on Instagram and Twitter. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/onequestvideo. And you can always send us an email to social@one-quest.com. But other than that, we'll be back next week with something else to talk about. Thanks for listening. Bye.
See yas.